Overpopulation is a serious problem that mankind is facing. It has already had a monumentous effect on us and our environment, causing depletion of resources, starvation, deforestation, and extinctions, and it is only getting worse. At the closing of the Black Death pandemic, around 1350 AD, the population was around 370 million and has been growing exponentially since that time. From the beginning of time for humans until 1804 is how long it took for human population to reach 1 billion. Only 123 short years later, this population had doubled. We had achieved doubling our population in a very, very, very small fraction of time. Only 50 years after that, the population had doubled again to 4 billion. And only 25 years later, after that, in 1999, the population reached 6 billion. As you can see in this chart here, population is increasing ever rapidly. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if the Earth had unlimited space and resources, but that is not the case. With the population growing at 1.1% a year, mankind and the Earth is on a devastating crash course for disaster. Which brings me to my first main point, is the fact that population is growing. We know the population is growing, it's for sure. But some people believe that this isn't a problem. Some believe that restricting the birth rate would only devastate the economy. Now, this is a plausible argument because even as you can see we're going through now, what is called the baby boomer social security problem, where my generation is dealing with a much larger generation that is retiring and paying for them. Now, the argument is that this problem would be even worse with the elderly population being so large and the number of people in the working force would be so much smaller. However, with the way medical technology is advancing, this is most likely to be a problem either way. As you can see in this chart here, the amount of elderly, or people over 40, compared to the amount of children, people under 15, the elderly population is much greater, even now, and it's only to become even greater in comparison. Some think that the Earth can harbor many, many more humans, and resource problems are only a problem because of poor resource distribution. Now, this is understandable because resources aren't very evenly distributed throughout the population. As you can see in this chart here, a small population of the world in Europe and America control almost 65% of the world's wealth, where the two largest populations, China and India, which make up almost half the population, only control 10% of the world's wealth. However, if we were to evenly distribute all of the money and wealth on the earth, every single person would be living well under the poverty line uncomfortably. Another belief is that controlling birth and mandating a control on population would go against many people's religion. However, I believe that with overpopulation as big of a problem as it is, this is almost going to be a necessity if we want to avoid extinction. My next main point is several issues arise from overpopulation, including lack of resources, starvation, poverty, and other species extinction, ocean acidity, and even global warming. Growing population means more living space needed. Cecil Rhodes was quoted saying, "Man begets, but land does not beget." This means that humans can grow, but land does not grow with them. Now, with a higher population of people, there's more land needed to house these people, as well as more land needed to farm food to control the hunger of these people. This leads to deforestation and destruction of other animals' environments and ecosystem. In a way, the human race is driving another mass extinction, and of the species on this extinction list, it could possibly end up being ourselves. A quote from Panetti Licola of the article "Can Life Prevail?" says, "The chief cause for the impending collapse of the world, the cause sufficient in and by itself, is the enormous growth of the human population. The human flood is the worst enemy. The worst enemy of life is too much life, the excess of human life." Extinction is also happening in the ocean. 15% of the proteins we take in as humans come from the ocean fish. Because of this, these fish are being overfished, causing the populations of these fish to dwindle, as the need for these fish only increases. This is a problem because now the fish that were once abundant and used to feed the human population are now finding themselves on the endangered species list. Examples of these are the southern bluefin tuna and the yellow-tail flounder. However, there are several other examples of this. Humanity is driving a mass extinction, and possibly the extinction of ourselves. It is estimated that 200 to 2,000 known species a year are becoming extinct every year, and this amount is only growing. Humans also account for nearly all of the Earth's pollution, and with the growth of humans comes the growth of pollutant, which devastates the world, and in many ways, from disruption of the environment to global warming. Other issues are the cause of a constant drop in average wealth. This is due to resources needing to be divided between more and more people, mostly in places with no resources to divide. World economy is being crippled and poverty rate is rapidly increasing. In poor countries, this means that clean water is too expensive, and so is food. Millions suffer from starvation and dehydration every day as a result. You see the commercials. Resources are being tapped much faster than they can be replenished. This is a huge problem with the fact that there is so little drinking water available to the world, only 1% of it being able to drink, not counting what is safe to drink. Humans could be the death of ourselves. With population passing 7 billion in 2012 and estimated to be 10 billion by 2025, now is the time to try and act to stop and possibly reverse the overpopulation problem. To do this, education on family planning and contraceptives should be distributed worldwide to prevent births and population growth. Although this plan may be controversial, it is a necessity to contain population. This would also benefit impoverished families as it protects them from having children they cannot afford. This, coupled with laws, restrictions, and fines to discourage overpopulation, could put an end to the problem. This would prevent an extreme amount of extinctions, including possibly our own, and save many forests and save the world from so many pollutants. This would also stabilize the world economy and help provide hope for our future. Molly Evans is quoted saying, "You look at large problems that we face. That would be overpopulation, water shortages, global warming, and AIDS. I suppose all of that needs international cooperation to be solved. And this is why I'm encouraging and challenging everyone to research this subject further, to learn more about the problem and its possible solutions, and become proactive in the fight to stop overpopulation before it is too late for the Earth." Thank you.